Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on Forza Horizon 4, building another car to go rallying. No, your eyes do not deceive you, as the particular vehicle in question today is a Zonda. Yes, a Pagani Zonda is going to take on our beach rally stage. I have no idea if this is going to be fast or not, but it was the most requested car, and therefore it is going to run. You would also be right in thinking this car starts off as S2 class. For our series, the cars need to be in S1. Thankfully, you can drop the PI of the Zonda. When you convert the vehicle to all-wheel drive, you will drop the PI a fair bit. It loses some speed, loses some handling, it gets heavier, which actually loses it 7 PI. We still need a couple more PI. Thankfully, the all-important rally tyres that we are going to be using are technically worse than the tyres it starts on, which is curious. It technically gains grip but loses significant braking. I'm not quite sure how that works. I guess it's the cars on street tyres from standard. Either way, it loses some PI. Thankfully, that's enough to put us in the right class. Downside is, well, it is the top of S1 class, and this is pretty much all we can do. We can get the rally suspension, which we are going to want. I mean, it's not exactly that high off the ground, is it? But it's better than nothing, I guess. I don't know whether we can sneak on any of these sort of things. We might be able to. I was going to have a look if we could get any tyre widths on, if we've got any little bits of PI to work with. Ah! We can get tyre widths on the back. Can that now give us... No. We can get tyre widths on the back that drop the PI. Because, of course, the wider the tyre, the heavier they are. I will always go for as big a tyres as possible. I've learnt plenty of... over many years of building cars on Forza, bigger tyres are pretty much always the way to go. Even when it comes to off-roading. Hell, the Demon went immensely fast with its massive tyres. So, yeah, it's always worth it going for the bigger tyres. It's a shame we can't do anything with the front tyres. I'm guessing we probably can't. Oh, we can sneak in a drive. There's more parts in this than I thought. I did buy that. Just making sure. Can't do gearbox. Can we do clutch? Nope. Engine-wise, of course, we're not going to touch. I doubt... Actually, we can't. Huh. Really? Is that all you can change on a Zonda? Kind of. So I still like float. Okay. Can you swap the engine? Again, not that we're going to. No, you can't. I guess you can give it some twin turbos if you are so inclined. Anyway, it's well into S2 class. There we have it. The car is set. 678 horsepower, 578 torque. I mean, that's good power and good torque. 2,900 pounds. Genuinely don't really know what we're going to see out of this car. It could be pretty fast. At the end of the day, it's a supercar. It's going to have, I would hope, a decent amount of handling, a decent amount of grip. But how that's going to translate to dealing with sand, that I don't know. Well, in this rally car building series, we have a classic Italian race car at the top of the table. The Ferrari 250 LM, a 158.0 is the time we are trying to beat. And we've got a modern Italian supercar to try and do it. It might be doable with this car. So this is a very unknown quantity. It's not very often we run cars with this higher a starting PI, because there's very little that you can do to the vehicle. Change direction, I mean, it's actually a bit understeery, which is good for me. It's how I like my cars to drive in general. Oh, that's the wrong gear. We're going to have to probably use first through there, or use first through there or be a little bit faster. I was in a very, very tight line. I was in a very tight line indeed. But first, it's not too bad. The car's, even with rally suspension, the car's so low. The sand is not having fun with the rear splitter of the car. The sand is not having fun back there whatsoever. Or the car's not having fun with the sand. We weave our way through the car park in a fairly calm and composed manner for a Zonda playing around on the beach, as you do. We're going to chuck the car down here. Are we going to... it's a slightly awkward place in the gear ratios. We probably want a slightly... Well, we either want a longer first gear or a shorter second gear, really, for these little bits. But there we go. It is what it is. We are out onto our first kind of acceleration zone. What have we got speed-wise? 100 miles an hour. It does get to. Not the fastest car we have seen, although, bear in mind, it's also nowhere near the most powerful car that we have seen run this course so far. We are very good around there. although I'm a little too late at getting it slowed down. That's my bad on that front as we head up towards the slithery part of the circuit. This is where I'm hoping the Zonda should be pretty good. I'm hoping for a nice large amount of grip from the Pagani as we head out of the hairpin. Now the jump could go either way, really. It's on rally suspension, sure, but who knows what that's going to do when it hits the deck in the supercar. It's not too bad. We did take off a little bit wonky. Poor positioning by me, really. It's going to be not a bad first run, actually. Not a bad first run for the Zonda. 2 minute 1.1 for the car. I'm not sure we quite got the speed to challenge the 250LM, but I think it's going to set a fairly straight, especially considering he stalled pretty much around one of the early corners. Less stalling would be good in this run. Otherwise, again, no real major complaints. No real major complaints with the car. The front end, I say the front end might not get turned in so sharply. I think it's more the balance of the car. We have got less sliding around in the Zonda than we have seen from some cars. That should suit me, to be honest. That should suit me, having the more planted rear end of the vehicle. Now let's get it slowed for the first part and then chuck it around. That's more like it. There we go. That's what we want to do. You've got to keep the revs up a little bit. A little bit of handbrake needed. I say needed through there. Depends on the car. For the Zonda, I think it's probably a good idea. Get a little handbrake, and again through there. That time we keep a little bit better speed. Can keep it in second to accelerate out the other side. Now chuck it around. Here we go. That's nicely done as well. I think where the Zonda may lose out in terms of lap time, I don't think it's going to be the best car through the sand, let's face it. It's a low-slung supercar. Its acceleration onto that back straight is not the fastest, the very fastest that we have seen. It's still rapid. Let's put it into context. It's still quick around here, but that may be somewhere it loses time out to, I can't believe I'm saying this, to the 250LM. And potentially some of the other cars as well. Demon and whatnot were very quick accelerating here. This is probably better through the corners, but we are stuck at lower speeds. It would make sense, again, supercar, sand, thick sand at that. Yeah, not likely to enjoy it. We're going for a little bit of a different line through here this time around. Looks like it might actually work out pretty well, although I have to go down a gear to third as we bounce our way up. The brakes are very good on the Zonda, as you would imagine. Can't really fault the Zonda for getting slowed down around here. Okay, sure, it's designed to tackle a lot higher speeds than 100 miles an hour, but still, it's working well in the sand. There's an AI car bouncing around, going to get reset, thankfully. That won't give us any trouble as we head up towards the castle. That's actually very nicely done. It's not quite all the way onto the tarmac for the Pagani, but we are down. We can accelerate away towards the line. Hey, we've got another car sub 2 minutes. The Pagani will break the 2 minute barrier, 1:59.8. It is within a tenth of the Demon. Again, not the usual cars you see fighting one another. However, yeah, better run. Not sure where I'm going to go faster. If there is any more time to be squeezed out of the Zonda, I need to find it now. This is our final run with the car. A tenth of a second is all we need to try and beat the Demon, which might just about be doable. There was a couple of places where we might have been a smidge wide on some of the corners. Certainly no big glaring errors. I think the Zonda going sub 2 minutes is actually pretty damn good going for it anyway, considering it is pretty much, well, I think it's pretty much standard, aside from, you know, the massive driveline change, you know, but ignoring that, there's not been much parts. Hell, we've had to drop the PI down. There's not been many parts that we could put into the car, which is generally a more difficult way to build cars competitively. I think to have got so close to the likes of the 250LM and the fast cars that have got in this series so far, I think that's pretty respectable from the Zonda. And again, considering the vehicle we are driving, not doing too bad out here. Not doing too bad out here whatsoever. I don't think it is really enjoying the sand all that much, but we are getting some decent speed out of it. This time we are better positioned coming down here than we were on that previous run. Now try and get it up. That's such a nasty corner. I didn't realise we're making it. I mean, I knew when making it was going to be a little bit of a nasty corner. You don't really realise until you've run the course a number of times just how nasty some of the turns are. And sometimes the corner you think is going to be the nasty one is actually not. Sometimes the one you think is going to be the real horrible turn He's not. I thought the little slithery snake bit towards the end of the lap, I thought that was going to be the bit that caught cars out. That's not too... I mean, you can get in trouble there, sure, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It really is. It's that little kind of square section where we get trouble. That was not so good across the beach corner, and because I was a little wide there, I've tried to make it up by going brave on the brakes. We got away with it. We didn't fire into the castle, essentially, but we may have lost a little bit of time. It's not quite as smooth as I would have liked for the Zonda. As we now head on to the back straight, the AI, the Transit, will be well clear of us. That will not give us any bother. Up over the jump we go. It's a little bit twisted for the Pagani, not really what we wanted. Can get away with it there, though, as we set the car up for the run to the finish line. I think it was a smidge faster. I think it was a lower 159. In all of that, it was 159.0. Good time. Good time in the end for the Zonda. We got a little bit more speed out of the car. Just a smidge more speed out of the Zonda. That's a much better performance than I expected. I didn't expect it to be slow. Let's face it, it's a supercar. And while it is outside of its comfort zone on Horizon games, they tend to be a little bit more lenient with the, with the vehicle dealing with unfamiliar terrain. But that's damn fast. That is very, very good going indeed for the Zonda, as it's going to go into second place. The 250LM will continue to reign at the top of the leaderboard. However, the Zonda is going to take second away from the S2000. Admittedly, we are a second down still on the 250LM. That did a 58.0. So yeah, this is second away. But it beats the S2000 by a tenth. It beats the Demon by 7/10. So that's a hell of a performance for a car that I can just get the required parts on for this series. And, well, nothing really any more than that. So well done indeed, Zonda. An interesting suggestion, and I would say quite a surprising result. That, though, is going to be it for this episode. If you do have suggestions of cars you would like to see run in this series, then please do leave them in the comments below. The most liked comments, most liked vehicle, will be run next time out, provided I can A, unlock it, afford it, and it will fit within the regulations. I'm also not running the peel yet. It'll come, just not yet. Yeah, that'll be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.